junkyard.
What up, kids? Today we're going to go over how to do that weathered custom paint job that everybody loves. Well, most people love. I love it because it hides a multitude of sins, and I'm not the best lexan cutter when it comes to making an LCG body. You know, they sit on the rails. There's a lot of cutting involved. It's not because I don't know how to do it. It's because I lack the patience too. And a nice weathered paint job, like I said, hides a multitude of sins. It looks good. And if you roll your chuck around, it doesn't matter because it just kind of adds to the character. So let's go over how to do that, shall we, kids? Well, first things first, you have your lexan body. You've cut it to your liking. You've done all of the things you need to do. You've put all the holes in it you need to put in. And you have left this outside film on. See the sticker there? Because we are going to do a little bit extra with this. And you need the film to make that happen. So the first thing I'm going to do to this is paint the inside silver. I went with silver because when we do our sanding and fade out, the silver kind of looks like metal when it's all said and done, but you'll see. So you're going to want to mask off the windows on the inside with the decal sheet and the window mask that came with it. Leave those in there. Give it a nice solid coat or two of silver. You want really good coverage for this coat. And then once you do that, we'll go over the next stuff. I don't have great lighting over here, but well, as you can see, I actually got this desk for free, and it makes a nice little extra workbench. I go light on the first coat. I go light on all coats. You could definitely see some spots and some splotches where it didn't go through. But you run into less runs that way. And for silver, I use a lot of Tamiya, however you want to say it, of their colors. But I use the bright silver. PS41 is the paint number. Anything you get that kind of looks close to what bare metal would look like, and this is the look I was going for. So I'll put 2 solid, probably even 3 solid coats on this, because like I said, I tend to go light. But as you can see, it's already coming through. But you could definitely see through this lexan body, and you can definitely see a little bit of what looks like a run, but it'll correct itself out here. I'm actually painting in the cold too, so that does not help. But yeah, this is very light coat 1. Not sure if you could see it or not, but I got my 3 coats on. There's still, remember, there still is this plastic foam on the outside, or film on the outside. So it does look a little weird in a couple areas, but once that foam peels off, you can really see it here. I mean, this is going to look like metal underneath. I'm going to be honest with you guys too. I could just lie, but I forgot to mask off the windows, which is a perfect, see how that looks all weird? That's actually the plastic there. That's a little bit of bunched up paint. I'm going to use the masking on the outside, but at this stage, the next paint layer I'm going to lay is a black. You can get any black paint as long as it's made for Lexan. Make sure you're not using hard plastic paints. I know some guys will comment down and say, hey, I use those, they work fine. Cool. I don't. I use them on hard plastic bodies. But anyways, I digress. So at this time, you can really take an X-Acto knife and you can go down and you could pull layers off, and you could paint this all different colors if you wanted to. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pull all the plastic off. I'm going to hit this with a nice coat of black. I want to get it nice and solid too, so that that is the solid top base. So I'm going to be sanding through that at some point. And then you're going to see when we spray the last layer, it's going to be a light coat, and it's going to give it a specific look. It's going to give it that worn look, and we're going to use a little bit of sandpaper to kind of give it some nice overall touch. I may or may not add rust to this, but at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you how to add a rust effect, and I mean real rust, not just like airbrush. It will be real rust on your body here. So, all right, let's get some black laid down on this bad boy. All right, as you can see, there's my phone. Not a fancy paint job by any means. It's just coated in black. Not perfect, and that's cool because we don't need it to be perfect, not in any way, shape, or form. As you can see, my cutouts are definitely not perfect, but I can rust those up or rough some edges around them with the paint job and make them actually look pretty cool. I'm not a great painter, but I can do a pretty decent weathered look. I love doing it on the hard bodies. And I actually thought of doing the undercoat instead of silver, doing it like, it's like a primer brown, but it's not quite brown. To me, it kind of looks reddish. So it's somewhere between red and brown, and I think it looks really cool. But I see a lot of trucks like that. I like a nice thin white coat over top, or even like a royal blue over top. It shows really well as a worn paint job, either of those colors. What base are you guys going to do? Are you going to do silver? Are you going to do like a primer look? Are you going to do black underneath and silver on top? Let me know down in the comments what you have planned. This body is ready for the windows to now be masked off because they are obviously going to be black. And I am going to spray a very light coat of white. And what I mean is, I'm going to take the can and just a nice light coat and just see how it hits the body. And I'm not going to go back over it in the same spot like I would right away. And then I'm going to do over here and over here. And then you might come in and do a little bit of a second coat partially on the fender so that you kind of see the black is going to bleed through. It would be not a thorough one coat, more like a bad half coat, if you will. Like if you were painting a first coat as light as humanly possible, you could build off that and do anything you want, but that's going to give you a desired look. And oftentimes when I do that, I'll come in for a second light coat too and hold the can even a little bit further away, so it's just getting a little bit of mist and darkening up certain areas. And you'll see that. I'll show you after I do the first light coat what that's going to look like, and then I'll see if I'm going to do any more. Well, the wonderful thing about this is if you mess up at this point with the windows like I did, you can go back and give it a little bit of a respray. So I resprayed the areas of the windows black, and as you can see, and the white area has that nice worn kind of see-through look, right? It still needs a little bit more, but I did mask off the windows, and I am going to give it another light coat of white, and we'll see what that turns out like. I like the way the roof is starting to look. We'll just get a little bit more of a stand back and give it a nice second very light coat. All right, fellers and fellettes, there's two coats on here. As you can see, I got it pretty well covered. It's probably hard to tell with this camera and the lighting, but you could kind of, you see the black coming through. Now I can take a really fine grit sandpaper and I can do a little roughing on some edges. I could make some rub marks along the hood. I could definitely fan out from those cutout marks and make it blend in a little bit better. And you can do that and leave it alone after that if you want. It'll just look like some worn paint. It's got some scrapes, some scraps, and all that stuff. Some people melt the body a little bit and put some dents in it. If you're really good at it, go for it. But if you're not, sometimes it turns out like crap, to be honest. So this almost looks silver through the camera. I assure you it is white, but you can see that part right there I left, and then I put a little bit of a thicker coat right there. Now when it comes to rust, you want a rusty look. There's two ways you can do it, two pretty simple ways. The first way is you could take some metal shavings, like if you have a grinder, or you know, you're cutting metal in your garage, you have a shop kind of set up, sweep up those metal flakes, put a little bit of water on your body somewhere, and then kind of sprinkle those flakes in different spots. Just kind of like some seasoning, you know, like a little bit of seasoning on that. So you're going to put that all over the place. Then you're going to make yourself 50-50 solution of, I think it's hydrogen peroxide and water and some salt in there. You're going to double check it. But then you're going to spray your body all over the place, and you're going to let it set. And what's going to happen is real oxidation is going to take place. You're going to have really nice, cool run marks of rust in different areas. I've tried that before, and it turns out pretty decent. But one thing I found better, well, for me anyways, is using some of this stuff from Mayco. M-A-Y-C-O. MM106 steel metallic. What I do, this is really thick stuff. Shake it up very well. Put some on a piece of cardboard, and then I take a sponge, dab my sponge in it, put it all over in different areas where I'm gonna want rust, real lightly, okay? Corners, edges, wherever you're gonna want to put it. And I take this stuff, while the paint is still wet, you're gonna want to take this stuff, I put it in a small spray bottle. This is also made by Mayco. It's oxidizer, MM305 Rapid Rust. You're going to want to spray that all over your body. This body, not that body, perv. And let it sit. And what will happen is, because there's real metal in this paint, that oxidizer will rust the paint, the metal that's in the paint. You'll have these nice big pockets of rust. You could make it thicker in some areas and thinner in others. And the beauty of all this is you could take a light piece of sandpaper and go over any areas where it didn't turn out right, or maybe you had too much rust, or if you don't have enough rust in certain areas, you can do it all again in different spots and put it on. And yeah, if you don't like the way this body looks even, you just spray it all over in a different color and make it solid. That's the beauty of it. So let me know what you guys did. Did you rust it? Did you let it alone? Did you do it all one solid color? Did this video help at all? Let me know in the comments, and please like and subscribe. It helps a lot. Thank you. And in addition to liking and subscribing, in all reality, I just hope this video helped you out. Take your sandpaper, rough it up wherever you want. I got you this far. Use your creativity. Take it home. And as always, welcome to my RC junkyard. Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water, or just when you thought the video was over, I couldn't just leave you hanging. So I wanted to just do a little bit of minor scuffing. As you could see, I still have a lot of stuff I'm going to do in regards to that, but you could see that kind of looks like paint worn down to the metal, does it not? That is the look I'm going for, and you could even feather that out further, which I will. I just wanted to do a couple quick scuffs and scrapes and kind of show you how this is gonna look, or what you can do. I'm using really fine sandpaper too. I don't know what grit this is, 1,000, 2,000, who knows, but it's really fine. It's just stuff I have laying around. And yeah, you don't want to use 80 grit or anything like that. It'll take that paint off like instantly. You want something where you're gonna have to work at it a little bit, so it's just gonna remove a little bit of paint at a time and not get you to that bottom layer as fast. But see how that looks like it's worn down the metal there? You could hide a lot of sin with this. Thanks for watching, y'all.